This is the Ag Queen Podcast. This podcast explores the agriculture industry with the movers and shakers of those shaping it. Here's your host, Lori Boyer.
Today's episode is being brought to you by Kubota. Together, we do more. Farming demands well-built equipment. Kubota equipment that's built right, built ready, and proven for over a century. Tractors that are adaptable and versatile. Hay tools backed by a 2-year warranty. Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. And productive SSV skid steers. There's farm work to do. Kubota equipment is ready to get it done. Learn more at KubotaUSA.com. I visit here today with Jess McClure. He is the Vice President of Safety and Regulatory Affairs with the National Grain and Feed Association. And we are here to learn more about some of the things that the association does and about the association itself. Jess, I think that's a good place to start. Tell me more about the association itself.
Sure. We're the nation's largest and most diverse agribusiness association. We were founded in 1896. We have over 1,000 member companies, and we handle 75% of the U.S. grains and oilseeds.
So how do you do that? What are some of the actual work? What is some of the actual work that you do?
So we are basically our membership. When you think of our membership, we're grain elevators, feed ingredient and pet food manufacturers, oilseed and corn processors. So when the organization was founded, it was to standardize grain inspection and grain grading, develop trade rules and procedures for trade disputes, create a united front for improving rail service, and elevate the professional reputation of the industry.
How long has this association been around?
So we celebrated our 125th anniversary back in November. So we're in our 126th year and just had our 126th annual convention in Charleston, South Carolina last week.
And how many member organizations do you have then?
So over 1,000, we're close to, I should say, 1,000 member companies.
Okay, very good. And are you just in the United States then, or do you have members that are outside?
So we have member companies. So it's obviously our membership is in North America, including Canada and Mexico.
Okay, very good. All right, talking about some specific things that you do, I'm on your website. I know you gave us an overview, but advocacy, tell me a little bit more what you do in that realm.
So when we have our 4 pillars that are part of our long-range plan, so when advocacy is one of them, in addition to safety programs and arbitration. And obviously, I'll get more into the safety programs. But when we're talking advocacy, we're obviously representing the industry in a wide variety of ways, such as obviously advocacy means on Capitol Hill, working with Congress on issues. It also means advocacy working with different agencies on regulatory issues, and this is both at the federal and the state level too.
Jess, I'll want to come back to some of those issues here in just a little bit. You also work in arbitration on behalf of your members, is that right?
Correct.
What would be an example of something you've done to work on behalf of your members in that realm?
Well, so arbitration, we have our trade rules. So obviously that's something, our arbitration system that we have. So if there's any dispute that may come up, that's something that through the trade rules and through our arbitration system that can potentially be resolved. So there's a lot of information on our webpage about that. So my area of expertise and focus is more on safety, and I'd be happy to kind of get into more detail on that with you.
I would appreciate that. So was what I was going to bring up next is some of the issues I do see on your website: feed, safety, trade. You mentioned that. Farm Bill, cybersecurity, transportation, barge digital transformation project. That's interesting.
Exactly. So the barge, all those programs that you see on our webpage. So when you're talking about transportation issues, that's what issues you're talking about, with rail carriers, talking about interacting with the Surface Transportation Board. When you're talking about the Farm Bill, obviously that's what I was talking about before with advocacy on Capitol Hill, and working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture and other agencies. And the same thing we get into safety. obviously the work that we do with the Department of Labor and OSHA. So there's a lot more information on those topics you mentioned on our webpage for those that aren't familiar, would like to go and learn more. And obviously we have different staff here within the organization that can answer any specific questions they may have. But when you get into safety, obviously we're when it comes to NGFA, we're very committed to promoting safety and health in the workplace, and we share the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA's commitment to protecting employees. So we have numerous online resources that you mentioned. If you go to the safety section of our webpage, you see tip sheets, webinars, podcasts like we're doing now, training videos, interactive courses, and guidance documents. All of that is available. A majority of it is free of charge to non-members. And then we have training and education programs too. So we do in-person training, such as regional safety seminars. We have an annual operations-related conference, Convey, that we're going to be having in Omaha in July. We do a harvest safety week prior to the fall harvest, and we also have a stand up for grain safety week too that we work with other grain organizations and OSHA on as well.
What would you say is the most common safety issue that you deal with or teach on in general?
There's several topics. There's those, I would say the common hazard that occurs within the agricultural industry occurs with producers, and in the agribusiness side is engulfments, entrapments inside grain bins. Mm-hmm. Historically, 70%, I should say, incidents occur on farm, but obviously that's a very important issue within our industry. And obviously, grain dust explosions that occur at grain elevators, that is something that is a high priority topic as well. So everything having to do with housekeeping and preventive maintenance, bin entry, those are all, I would say, very important issues within the industry that we've done a lot of work on with OSHA in trying to address the hazards.
Do you ever partner with any other organizations that might be in the same space or any academia, government agencies, anything like that?
Well, we primarily work with OSHA as the regulatory agency. The other trade groups we work with that are part of our alliance, we work with the Grain Elevator and Processing Society, which is professional organizations for many within the grain feed and processing industry. And we work with several other trade groups on a variety of topics. But when it primarily comes to safety, I would say OSHA and Jeeps are the primary groups that we work with.
I know you mentioned some things that are coming up, but as of right now, what is on your desk? Like, what are some of the projects or initiatives that you're working on currently?
So obviously a key issue right now within our industry is, and many industries for that matter, is obviously COVID-19. And OSHA has a national emphasis program regarding COVID-19. Obviously, what businesses need to do to mitigate the hazard. So that's obviously something we are keeping our eye on. And obviously want to make sure our members are up to date on any guidance documents or any changes to the program that the agency may have on those topics. As far as in general, enforcement, OSHA has numerous regions, and many of these regions have enforcement emphasis programs at grain handling facilities. So we want to make sure that we have a good line of communication with these OSHA area offices and specific issues that they may be wanting to address during these inspections. And there's several, I would say, rules that are OSHA's in the process of developing too. One is heat injury and illness prevention that we have submitted comments on that we're working on as well. So those are, I would say, primary issues we're involved with OSHA right now. And then as far as the actual activities, our regional, we do regional, as we call it, regulatory compliance seminars with our regional and state affiliates. So we're going to be in Kearney, Nebraska on April 5th, and we're planning to that's the day after the kickoff event for the stand-up for Grain Safety Week. That'll also be in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then we're going to be in Indianapolis on July 14th, I believe. Thursday, July 14th for another regulatory compliance seminar too.
Okay. And do you ever work in partnership with companies themselves, not necessarily your members, but maybe they are companies that are coming up with new technology and innovation? The one that pops in my mind, because it wasn't too long ago that I did an interview, was with Grain Weevil. Does your organization partner or collaborate on any of those things?
Well, we do have those companies are, as they're called, affiliate members, right? They're affiliate members, but as far as partnership goes, very similar to the U.S. government that doesn't really endorse particular products. We don't necessarily partner with one particular company to promote one particular product. There's many companies out there that are involved in developing many products for the industry that could be useful to our members in many ways. So we encourage them, if they want to have an opportunity to be involved and communicate and network with our member companies, they're more than welcome to join and, participate in events that we have, like our Country Elevator Conference or our annual convention, or as I mentioned, Convey, that we'll be having in Omaha on July 26th and 27th. That's a good opportunity for them to introduce their products to our members.
Nice. Okay. All right. What else, Jess, would you like to say or mention that I haven't asked about?
I would say the one thing I didn't really talk about a little bit more details are Stand Up for Grain Safety Week. That's part of our alliance that we have with OSHA, the Grain Elevator and Processing Society, and the Grain Handling Safety Coalition. So that event, it's part of the alliance we have with OSHA. It's a week-long event. The kickoff is in Lincoln at the University of Lincoln Extension Center, and obviously be focusing on safety within the industry, a wide variety of topics. There'll be each day is dedicated to a specific topic, and there's a lot of information on those topics and the presentations that will be made. It's Stand Up for grainsafety.org. So stand up, it's the number 4, grainsafety.org. And a lot of information on there, and would encourage everybody to go. It's designed for both producers and for those in the commercial industry as well.
And remind me the dates on those again, Jess.
So that starts, the kickoff is on Monday, April 4th. Okay. That's going to be, the kickoff event will be at the University of Lincoln the University of Nebraska Lincoln Extension Center there. And so that'll be on Monday, April 4th. And then the next day, on Tuesday, April 5th, that's where NGFA, we're going to be having a one-day regulatory compliance seminar in Kearney, Nebraska. And we're going to have representatives from the OSHA Omaha area office there. And that's a one-day event talking about a lot of issues relative to the industry, such as hazard assessment, lockout, tag out, and having representatives from OSHA there as well.
All right. Sounds like a great event. Very worthwhile. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Well, great. Thanks for having me. It's been good talking to you.
You as well. And again, that's Jess McClure. He's Vice President of Safety and Regulatory Affairs with the National Grain and Feed Association. For more than 3 decades, U.S. farmers, largely organic, have increased yield with the help of SP1 Classic. As fertilizer costs soar and supply chain challenges loom, DPH Biologicals is expanding access to this trusted biofertilizer to the conventional acre. With TerraTrove SP1 Classic, the complete biofertilizer, growers can replace up to 50% of starter fertilizer. Visit dpbio.com to reclaim soil fertility. Farming demands well-built equipment. Kubota equipment that's built right, built ready, and proven for over a century. Tractors that are adaptable and versatile. Hay tools backed by a 2-year warranty. Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. And productive SSV skid steers. There's farm work to do. Kubota equipment is ready to get it done. Learn more at KubotaUSA.com.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Ag Queen Podcast with your host, Lori Boyer.